where the AmaZulu monarch and members of the KwaZulu-Natal government are leading a walk through the city. This is to create awareness about the scourge of gender-based violence. Karinda, Jagmohan and Mnisi are standing by for us respectively. Karinda, let's start with you. You have been walking side by side with marchers. We heard from young people as to why they have come out to support this initiative. Just place yourself for us and tell us how far you are from the Kingsmead Stadium.
Let them move, let them move, let them move, let them move.
Well, of course, I'm actually very close to my colleague Linda, who's here, but I'm joined by our Social Development Minister. Ma'am, thank you for speaking to us. This is a critical time that you're doing. Your department is also responsible for much of this. Tell us about your plans from this march going forward.
Well, we're always on the road as the Department of Social Development because we are about the well-being of our people. We're always connecting to organizations, NPOs and NGOs who are prepared to do the groundwork, because this is about doing the groundwork. Gender-based violence is not going to end with lofty ideas and documents and all that. Those are necessary, they're important, but when all is said and done, we believe as a Department of Social Development we must deal with this problem house to house, community to community, street to street, but of course get all the other necessary departments to join us and be with us. I think today the most important thing is from the Goodman Foundation is their mobilization of King Misuzulu himself, who from the very beginning, he has been talking about the issue of gender-based violence, and the fact that he's going to be part of this march as well as part of the work that's being done by Goodman Foundation, we appreciate that. We not only just work with the Goodman Foundation, all other organizations who put a lot of effort into helping us change the mindset, change the behavior, and have a positive impact in making sure that people understand that gender-based violence must not have a space in South Africa. And what is exciting for me, I just came back this morning at 4 o'clock in the morning from Tanzania in Zanzibar, where again, from an international perspective, we were dealing with the issues of gender-based violence, sexual and reproductive rights for women and all. So I arrived this morning and I'm here and I'm very excited to be here.
Ma'am, going on with this, you mentioned it's going to be a house-to-household activity going forward. Do we have enough social workers? Is there more for budget that we need next year, especially as we try and address the scourge?
Yes, the Department of Social Development has made the necessary presentation to the Department, to Finance and to the Minister, and the Minister has been very positive in making sure that we find the resources for hiring or for ensuring that we have more social workers. But let me tell you, it's much more than just having social workers, because if we're going to focus on just the social workers and not focus on the people that are in the house, the people that are on the streets, the communities that are on the streets, the churches, the religious community, and all other communities. It is the responsibility of everybody to stand up and actually make the work of the social workers a bit easy, because it's tough for social workers. They need to be extended to places where families face trauma of a woman having been killed or a child being abused. We need to collectively act as South Africans to end gender-based violence.
Ma'am, just lastly, we hear that the most common type of gender-based violence is intimate partner violence. What is your message to the couples out there who experience this, men abusing their wives?
If it doesn't work, don't force it. If you can see much early that it's not working, don't force it. If you're a woman and you know that it starts with a little push, then it goes with a slap, then it goes even further. You must try your best and get out of it. Talk to your family, because one of the biggest problems facing women is that they don't talk about it. They keep quiet. And in fact, sometimes even family members keep quiet when they see either a girl coming back home visibly shaken that she's been abused, and they don't say anything about it. It is time that as women collectively we raise our voices, but we are saying not only women, boys and girls, women and men, let us stand up, because we cannot be ashamed to the world being known to be a country that has this highest abuse of women and children.
Minister, thank you for your time. A critical message there by our Social Development Minister, especially the last, a message to families as well. Don't turn a blind eye. Ensure that you are aware of what's happening and don't feel embarrassed to speak out. Of course, a message there to other men as well to speak out. My colleague Linda Mnisi is right here, but he's going to give you more of a message going forward, especially as you see he has a guest right here. You can take a look at him. Linda, tell me what's happening on your side.
Well, Karinda, you've just arrived here at the Gugu Park here in KwaZulu-Natal. That's where, of course, we've been waiting for the arrival of the Amazulu King, Mrs. Uluka Zwelithini. He hasn't arrived. The crowds that you've been with have arrived here. I guess then that's when the waiting starts for the arrival of the king, who will then lead them to the stadium, which is about 640 meters away. But as we've been speaking throughout the morning about the people that are involved in this march, most importantly, leaders from the religious group, and I'm joined now by one religious leader. His name is Busiso Buyazi. He's speaking primarily about the spiritual crime prevention, and one wonders what that is, because we're seeing, Baba, and oftentimes, the church now is found wanting in these crimes perpetuated against women. The leaders of these churches also, we see some in courts today charged with these crimes.
Good morning to the listeners. I'm Bishop Sbusiso Mbuyazi, standing for spiritual crime prevention that was launched February this year in Pretoria. Now, we are pushing here at KZN all the spiritual leaders to stand against crime. In actual fact, no one is immune from the crime. As I'm talking to you, there are 2 pastors who have been killed recently. Now, we are saying, if the church, if the religious leaders of different faith organizations, they don't stand up and fight the crime, because faith-based organizations, they have the power to turn the thinking, to turn the mind of the individual. So that's why now we are working with SAPS to change. We want a crime-free country.
How honest has the religious community been about gender-based violence, which is happening in its space? How honest have those conversations been?
I would say we've been busy but not seen. We're working behind the curtains, behind the scene. But now we are coming forth to deal with the situation in such a way that in our organizations, in our churches, in our synagogues, in our temples, we are starting the crime prevention desk that will deal with these things happening in our surroundings. We are saying to churches, we are saying to the temple leaders, we are saying to the synagogues, go out of your 4 walls. Now go and deal with this thing that is facing our people.
And why should young women and young girls feel that it's still a safe space to come to, given the crimes that we've seen play out, particularly in the religious sectors?
We are saying the young people should work with their church groups. Those who do not belong to the church, they must work with their community leaders, because we are engaging councillors, we are engaging the leaders, we are working with them, we are working with Amakosi, we are working with every structure that is there. We want to be in front to deal with the crime. We say our girls must feel safe, that we're going to make this country safe. So we need their commitment.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. That's Bishop Buyazi there representing the spiritual crime prevention, something that he says was formed in Pretoria. And he speaks about an important thing, creating a crime prevention desk within the churches themselves. Who would have thought that would get to a point where, churches also have to think about how they fight crimes within their own institutions. It actually takes me back to, one of the promises that was made by Police Minister Begikele of a GBV desk within every police station, the success thereof being questioned at the recent gender-based violence summit. Is it there? What is its role, and is it being implemented in the manner in which it's supposed to work? Now, religious leaders going and singing the same tune from the same hymn book, saying that they are implementing those crime prevention desks within the religious sectors. As you can see behind me, police have already also started arriving to make sure that safety and security is one that is also important and taken into account as the King will be making his way here and then, of course, to the Kingsmead Stadium. Tutu?
Karinda, Jagmohan, thank you very much for the comprehensive report.